Welcome, Libra. This is your monthly focus for November 2022. I'm Tilly. This is Tarot with Tilly. Let's dive right into the astrology for you. Now, we start on the 8th with a lunar eclipse in your 8th house. So, this is about death and rebirth. This is about transformation in your life. This is being the mystic. Now, the sun will be in Scorpio, which is your house of money, your values. So you may be looking at restructuring your finances completely. You may be looking at perhaps debt and how to get rid of that, using your money more wisely. It could also be that something comes into your life unexpectedly that brings in more money. So it could be a career change. It could be an invitation to a career change. It could be a promotion. It could be starting your own business. It could be deepening or strengthening a business that you already have. On the 16th, Venus moves into Sagittarius, then Mercury, then the Sun, and ending with the 23rd, a new moon at 1 degrees of Sag. That's your voice. That's your transformation. So network yourself. Talk about your passions, what you want to create, what you want to invent, what your next step looks like in your mind. Bring it to life. But I think at least the first half of the month, at least, you'll be looking at your finances a lot more than anything else. Maybe when you get your finances set up in a certain way, you see that you have money to invest in yourself in some way, and definitely talk about it, network, brainstorm, any way that you can communicate, that you do communicate with others. Step it up a notch and really put the focus on your passions and your dreams and where you want to take yourself going forward to create your best life ever. Now, a couple of things are happening. We have Mars in retrograde for the entire month, and that's in your 9th house. So we're really looking at maybe your spiritual journey. It's not so much about pushing it forward as it is about looking at what you have in place now and how you can expand on that. Or maybe it needs to be deleted and something else put in its place. It could be about your travels that you have been on, the steps that you've taken to get this far, perhaps in your journey of financial success, career success. And there is a very large happening going on with your relationships, home and family. In fact, Jupiter has just gone into Pisces. And so it's more about the dreaming, it's more about taking care of ourselves and understanding perhaps what you need from a relationship. If I could tell you anything to meditate on for this upcoming month, 2 months actually, is to meditate on you, how you reward yourself, how you take care of yourself, what brings you happiness, what brings you joy. And then maybe in the second month, more towards the relationships, the close relationships in your life, home and family. And see where you want to deepen that relationship, how you want to deepen it, where you need to step up in it, where they need to step up in it, where the conversations need to be. And this could also be, if you're single, really imagining the person that you want next to you to walk your journey with you. What traits, what characteristics, How do they need to treat you? How will you treat them? How do you make space for them in your life? Because our lives are very busy, and sometimes when you're single, there really isn't much wiggle room to have a relationship thrown in there. So what would you be willing to give up, sacrifice for that true love, that soulmate to come into your life? Maybe it's a best friend, a new best friend. Maybe that's what you need. That's what you imagine. Maybe that friendship turns into a love affair later on down the road. Okay. Let's look at the cards, shall we? So we'll give them a fast shuffle. I've already cleared them, so. I didn't knock, but I don't think that really matters. Look at this. The Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands is about, okay, so let's analyze the card here. And I love this deck only because they're so graphic. So there's so much to look at and explain. And over a decade of using them, I'm still seeing new things come out at me. So amazing deck in my opinion. And it's all listed in the little box wherever you are. So, okay, so here we are. These are the paths we've walked. Okay, notice that they're all tall, they're straight, they all have some foliage and growth on them. So it tells me that these paths were very successful paths for you going through your life so far. Now you end up with this one. Now, trust me when I say that all of these started out looking like this one. It's short, it's stubby, it's twisted, it's gnarled. There is absolutely no growth on it, and you're holding it and you're examining this path. You're saying, yes, I have everything that it takes to go on this path. I've already accumulated it. So when you went through certain things in your life and it didn't make sense, it may make a lot of sense now that you have that wisdom to go forward in the way you want. Now, we wear white, new beginnings, and we wear red. So that's your passion. There definitely has to be a passion within this path forward, and there needs to be a courage. So you need to grab onto, embrace your courage, your strength, your determination, your willpower, your commitment. These are the things that are going to take that knobby, twisted little wand and turn it into a beautiful path forward. Okay, so we'll set that one aside. Look at this, Death. The Death card is right underneath it. So it being underneath it, being the shadow card of the shadow card for the month, says that you need to trust more. Maybe it's trusting yourself, your gifts, your talents, your abilities. Maybe it's trusting God, your angels, your spirit guides, the cosmos, the universe, that divine energy that helps you move forward. Maybe you need to trust in someone else. Maybe you've gotten very distrustful and you need to heal from that before you can truly go forward. But at the end of the day, the inner child is here ready to play. It's waiting for you to transform. It's waiting for you to throw off that cloak, lay down that weapon. Stand up tall and straight. Take a deep breath of air and just feel alive and start going towards goals and dreams. So there's something that you're keeping locked up within your heart that you need to release, you need to heal from. So it could be a past trauma, whatever it might be. Okay, whatever it might be for you. Really look it in the eye, really deal with it so that you can have that beautiful path forward that's being promised to you. Okay, let's get the first card here. Look at this, the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands. First of all, our scenery here is very, there's nothing. There's really nothing. It's very blah, which means that we can create almost anything here. Sky's the limit. No obstacles, nothing in our way. Now, does that happen in real life? No, but in our mind, in our thoughts, it absolutely can. So think about what you want. Think about where you want to go. Think about who you want to become. Think about what you want to bring into your reality. Think about your best life ever. Meditate on it, pray on it, contemplate it. The World card. The World card says that there is a brand new path opening up to you. Like, it is like, when this card shows up, it is a huge path. It's going to probably take a lot of work and a lot of determination, but it'll be well worth it. But there's a couple of things that you need to tidy up before you can go forward. Now, as I spoke earlier, this could have something to do with your finances. How you create money, how you spend money, how you invest money, what you hold of great value, how to increase your money. But before you can really do any of that, you need to, I'm going to throw this card down here too. I don't know why I put it away after, because it does have part of your story in there. So it's tying up loose ends. It's tying up loose ends so that inner child can come out and play, so that you can transform, that you can say yes to that path. So everything you're imagining right now, it's only in your imagination. And this is probably the biggest blocks here for you. Now look at, we've got the Four of Swords. If you're tired, rest. Do not take on more than you should. Know your limitations. Take time for you. Take time to pamper yourself, love yourself, reward yourself. This is essentially a card that says that you have come off the battlefield, that the war is over, that you're home now. And so you take off your armor, you hang up your weapons, and you lay down and you rest and recuperate. Now the light coming through that window signifies a beautiful, bright tomorrow waiting for you. But you can't just step into it. You have to rest. You have to recuperate. You have to breathe. So that's probably, the full moon eclipse that is happening on the 8th. Just, we're going to feel tired. That's okay. So right around the end of the first week going into the second week, especially, I can see this happening in your life. So it is about, if you need to unplug. It's healthy to unplug. It's healthy to recharge your batteries. And you want to take care of you. Because without you, this doesn't happen. Okay, work, career. Look at this. The Lovers show up for work and career. Well, this could be an office fling, but highly doubtful. I think once you rest, once you recuperate a little bit, you can really embrace your passions, your desires, your wants when it comes to what you do, who you are, where you're going, what you're stepping into. So this is very beautiful energy for any kind of career shift that you are hoping for in your life. So you, of course, it's thoughts here, but really we have to do the actions. We know we have to walk the walk in order to gain what we want. Knowing that God, your angels, your spirit guides, they're preparing the path for you. So long as you're doing the steps, they're doing their work. Relationships. Oh, we're thinking about relationships a lot. So these are our close relationships. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that you have to make a decision at any point. In fact, I would highly recommend that you hold off as long as you can and really get in touch with what makes a relationship work for you, what is needed within that relationship for you, for them. It could be a best friend, it could be your next door neighbor, it could be a coworker, it could be the love of your life, a partner, a spouse, a child, a parent, our very close circle. That's who we're talking about when we're talking about love. And we're thinking about our relationships. We're thinking about, do they have value in my life? Do they add value in my life? Do they add support for me? And do I do that back? Now, eventually we'll move over and we'll look at it under a different viewpoint. Well, what if I did this within the relationship? What if I had a conversation about them doing that in a relationship? Maybe we need to try something different and new. Maybe we need to communicate more. Maybe we're branching out into different areas, and so we kind of have to hit the pause button in the relationship so that we can go our separate ways and work our journey together. Could be all kinds of things. Now, I noticed that we've got the World card here. So tying up some loose ends. What have you been holding within that you haven't said in the relationship? This may be a time to think about Think about what you need to say so that you can walk forward in your path. Spirituality. Spirituality is the judgment card for you. So at the very beginning, I said with this full moon eclipse that it might be something about your spirituality. And this is really understanding what works for you and what doesn't. Maybe your spirituality is lighting a candle and just saying a fast prayer, and that's it. Maybe it's less than that. Maybe you journal. Maybe you have a gratitude journal. Maybe you show your love for your community or your inner circle, or maybe you are of service in some way that greatly enhances the lives of many, or even just a few, or even just one. How do you practice your spirituality, your compassion, your empathy, your love? That magic inside of you, how do you freely distribute it and gratefully accept it from others? Health and well-being, it's what your gut is telling you. Okay, so this could be a doctor visit where they've told you something and it just doesn't, it's just not, no, it's more than that, or it's different, or you weren't listening to me. So it could be about believing in yourself, believing in your gut feeling, because that's really God, your angels, your spirit guides whispering to you. Your higher self knows what's best for you. Of course, you know yourself best. So this could be going with the flow. This could be asking more questions so that you feel a sense of you're being taken care of, so that you can go with the flow a lot easier. So understand where those roadblocks are, where you're not allowing it. This is, the more you realize that, having more by having less kind of comes to mind here. That you don't need a whole bunch of things, and you could redirect perhaps that money in a different way that really moves you forward. Because we're holding our abundance here. We're growing our abundance here. Your health is your wealth. It's about taking care of you first. That is probably the strongest part I'm hearing of this, is making sure that you're okay. Making sure that you are good, so that you can go forward. We had it here, and now we have it here again. So taking care of you before anybody else. Okay, we will get a Rose Oracle here. I do love this deck, but I find it very pale for videos. So I may be looking for a new deck. I've got a couple. Like probably 24 decks. Okay. Okay, that's the cut. Okay, so our card is the Wastelands. This is the second time this one's come up. So the Wastelands. Now, if I believe my memory serves me correctly, this is the strongest card in the entire deck. And it's the second time it's come out. So it's all about sustainability, to slow down and tend your garden. There's a 13th century French myth in the form of a poem that tells the story of a king who abuses the land he's supposed to be the guardian of. The king breaks the trust of the well maidens and the spirits who are guarding the wells of the land, and they flee. The waters run dry, the plants wilt, and the land, which was once rich and fertile, becomes barren, creating a wasteland. And I just had this thought of, understand where you feel stagnant in your life right now. When it comes to any of the things that we've talked about so far, where is that stagnant energy? This is the most powerful card in the deck. It's a wake-up call for us to stop any kind of destructive behavior that's resulting in us becoming brittle and unable to live in a beautiful and sustainable way. The sacred feminine is abundant. She knows that the earth can provide for what we need and that she doesn't need to take more than she needs. She tends the earth around her and within her. She's the keeper of balance and the protector of all living things. The rose has seen civilizations come and go, empires rise and fall. In this card, she's delivering a message, an urgent message to slow down and stop any way that is not being a healthy choice for you. It will not be sustainable to do this path if you remain. To release anything that's making us brittle, to tend to our garden, our bodies, and the earth around us. So, the question you need to ask your soul is, what way of being is no longer sustainable for me? And until we meet again, remember, I do love you.